Thank you for joining us for 312%, Managing the Tasks of Your Personal Assistant, today's Wednesday workshop. Brought to you by Annie Mac Works. My name is Carrie Kremenacher, and I'm the co-founder of Associate Works, the power behind the Annie Mac Works productivity platform. Today we're going to be talking to you about a few different things. We're going to talk to you about how real estate associates with the personal assistant out-earn other associates 3 to 1. Everything that we teach and the theme around all of our teaching, training, and coaching here at Associate Works talks about spending a dime and making a dollar. So we're going to talk about the different things that you can do and the different conversations that you might be having inside your head that say things like, I can barely earn enough money to support myself and my family. I need to make more money, not spend more money. Where can I find someone that would work for me on my budget? You know, the thing is that you might think that you don't even need a personal assistant, but I will tell you that you will find things for that assistant to do, and it will let you do the things that you do well and delegate the things that you don't. So let's talk about why you would rather be a personal assistant than hire one. You know, the 312% paradigm shift is a fundamental change in your approach or your perceptions about your real estate career. So let's get into it and talk about the choices that you have that we're going over with you on Monday. You can hire a subcontractor, you can hire a part-time person, you can even timeshare someone with a similarly with an agent that you know in your office and that might have similar needs to you. Maybe not a whole person, not a full-time person, but someone that you could timeshare with. You know, there are things that your assistant can do, and there are things that your assistant cannot do. And that's where it comes in about the things that you do well or the things that you're licensed to do that personal assistant isn't. You can delegate the things that they can do to them. You know, they can call prospects and take surveys. They can open doors and allow people in. And they can read printouts or hand out printed material that you prepared for them. But they cannot. They must not ever pretend that they're a realtor or try to interpret information so that someone can sell or purchase a home. So how do you manage others? That's really the key of the key of today's conversation. You know, you manage them through preset tasks. You manage them through checklists that we have for you. We've provided you a ton of checklists, and I'll tell you where to get those in a minute, and through clear and concise direction. You know, you need to have, both for yourself and for that assistant, predetermined objectives and benchmarks. And your assistant can help you to hold you accountable as part of their job description for those predetermined objectives and benchmarks. You know, you need to evaluate and hold that person accountable. You never want to hire someone and then make them your shadow. That is wasting money. You might as well light $20 bills on fire if you're going to hire someone to shadow you. But you also want to make sure that they get the perks and recognition for jobs well done. You know, what we're going to talk about today is black and white direction instead of gray. Gray turns into the shadow that follows you around and you're not getting your money's worth. What we're trying to teach you is how to take those preset tasks and checklists and make it a black and white direction. So let's take a look at a Excel spreadsheet that's available to you on the Annie Mac Works website that tells you what jobs or tasks that you might have done in the past. So you have these tasks that need to be done on every file. But there are certainly things that can be changed from the assigned to category or in the assigned to category from the real estate agent, which is yourself, to your personal assistant. You can give them the opportunity to do certain things. So when you assign these tasks to your assistant, you can have them to upload the signed listing agreement. You can have them You can have them upload the listing in the MLS. You can have them create your single property website for you inside of My Work Suite. You can have them do all of those different things that would have taken your valuable time. You have an opportunity to choose tasks and have them do certain parts of prospecting for you. You have the ability to have them do these office paper pushing pieces of equipment that you would have to do otherwise, allowing you to prospect more and to gain more things for them to do. And that's really why when you talk about hiring a personal assistant, that we talk about spending a dime and making a dollar. Because if you're hiring a part-time person or subcontracting out these things, maybe you pay someone a certain amount of money per listing that they enter for you, or the single property websites that they create for you, or maybe it's something that's in their daily task management. But let's look at this eBull follow-up system that is available to you on the eBull section of the Andy Mac Works website. See, there are certain things that happen inside of a for sale by owner follow-up system. There's the initial contact, there's the letter number 1, the email number 1, a handwritten note. All of those things can be done by an assistant. And if you schedule out their time, Monday this happens, Tuesday this happens, Wednesday this happens, then you are able to go and do your prospecting so that when these people list, it's the work of the personal assistant that made it happen, but yet you're getting the listing. You see, there's so many different task lists that we've made available to you so that you can go out and do the prospecting that you would want to do. And if you use them and you put in due dates and then accomplished dates, that all is part of that accountability that I spoke of earlier. That's all a part of the way that you can recognize them for a job well done. And the thing about everything in real estate is that it's a numbers game. The more contacts you make, the more listings you take, the more closed sales you have. So using the hard work of someone else will help you to increase your listing inventory and ultimately your GCI. See, there's a system in place for everything, and systems win every time. There was a postcard and door hanger printing system that we had put into place between 2001 and 2007. And it's a very simple process, and it's very easily done by someone because of the step-by-step instructions. So I'm not saying that this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, you can hire an assistant and you've got it. You know, managing someone does take a little bit of time. However, using that person's time creates so much more of your time. If you invest 1 hour in teaching someone how to do something that you would normally do, you will save yourself 300 or 400 hours, freeing yourself up for your licensed activity. A system for a listing appointment. You know, there's calls that come in. An assistant can ask certain questions and fill this form out for you so that when you're speaking to the prospective seller, you are already ahead of the game. and it sets you apart from someone who answers the phone themselves. One of the things that we always say is that the assistant should always address you by Mr., Ms., or Mrs., and your last name. And the bulletproof listening appointment is definitely, the beginnings of it are definitely a transferable skill. I have a top 10 list to do for rookie realtors, and it talks about all of the different things that you can do if you're a rookie realtor. That also is available for you on the Annie Mac Works website. But what if, remember I said managing a personal assistant takes time. What if you had to manage a personal assistant for 40 hours per week? What would you do? 40 hours every single week, over and over and over. What could she do? What would help you to get the most and best out of them? Would it make you money or would it cost you money? What would it do? Are they paid to stand around and wait for something to do? Or do they have preset tasks? I want you to think about Richard Simmons and Deal a Meal. I don't know if I'm aging myself by letting you know that I actually know what this is. But Richard Simmons is a weight loss guru, for those of you who don't know. And he basically would give cards, or you could purchase cards, and eat the things on those cards. You don't eat the cards themselves, but you would eat the prescribed items on those cards in a certain amount in order to help someone lose weight. Well, let's talk about a personal assistant and 40 hours per week and how you could use something like that in order for you to fill those 40 hours with tasks that are not standing around. They're not waiting for you. They're not shadowing you. So let's look at it. They could run and research expirees. And if you notice, in the upper left-hand corner of this deal a sale card that I've given to you, it says how much time it will take each week. So run and research expirees. Every morning at the start of the business day, you will be required to pull all of the expirees in your target market. You're going to guide them in this the first couple of times. You're going to tell them what the appropriate price range is. You're going to tell them what the search criteria is in the MLS system so that they have the list pulled and the available phone numbers available for you. And then their job is to make you aware of those expireds and encourage you to make the necessary initial contacts every day. So remember I said that that personal assistant would also help to keep you on task? Well, if they've taken the time at your direction to run and research the expireds in your area, guess what happens? They're handing it to you. You're spending money on it. You are more likely to call those people than if it was up to you and you were up to your own, left to your own laurels to run and research them yourself and then call them. Because they've already done the stuff that you don't need to do for you. And they're putting it in your face and saying, call. And if that's something that's important to you, then you're going to do it based solely on the fact that how could you not? Because you're then choosing not to make those initial contacts based on something else that you might find more important, like going to pick up the dry cleaning or something like that. 25 absentee owner notes. This might be something that you choose. This is 3 hours per week. See, every morning at the start of the business day, immediately following the expired listing task, the assistant will complete 5 absentee owner handwritten notes. So now you're making that initial contact without you having to make that initial contact. And remember, I said it's a numbers game. If they're doing this every single day, every single week, and you know that you're going to have 25 absentee owners contacted per week, after a month, it's 100. Listings will start to come. Those phone calls will start to come in, and you'll be able to increase your GCI simply by having someone else write the absentee owner notes. See, this could be something that the subcontractor could do for you. This could be something that the part-time person could do for you. All of these tasks can be mixed and matched until you get to the point where you think you need a full-time person. Because if you look at the hours that it takes for each of these things to occur, you can decide how many hours per week based on what your business plan says and which different parts and pieces you want. Maybe you don't want to work expired, so that goes out the window. That 5 hours a week goes out the window. Maybe you don't want to work on absentee owners, so that 3 hours goes out the window. But don't worry, there's so much more that they can do. Remember I showed you that e-bowl follow-up system? Well, that's where this card comes into place. See, there is a specific amount of tasks that needs to be done to follow up on a for sale by owner. And if you choose to hire someone for 40 hours per week, you can put all these things in. But if not, you can decide that you're going to put e-bowl as one of your sources of business. See, if they or you put this as one of their daily tasks, then this should be completed. These cards are the framework of how you would manage those tasks of that personal assistant. I want you to think about this. Say you have a pre-closing and post-closing drill, and you have 2 hours set aside for that per week. And that assistant follows, I will show you the post-closing drill here in a minute, and the pre-closing drill. And they follow the exact detail, every aspect of it. Well, you might have to, if you're hiring somebody part-time at first, and then you start to get more closings, obviously, you're going to make 312% more than you did without the assistant. So you're going to start, you could add hours in, because your pre-closing and post-closing drill might end up taking not 2 hours, but it might end up taking 4 hours per week, because your closings are taking that much longer. Let's talk about your sphere of influence and how they can build and manage that database for you. For everyone that's in your sphere of influence, they can send those emails. They can do that for 2 hours a week. They can contact all of your past customers 2 hours a week. So if you don't have a sphere of influence database and you want to build one, you can have that assistant do that. If you say, that's not really a source of business that I want to put in, then of course you would remove that. See, you're the boss. And that's why we put these in individual pieces and parts, so that you can pick and choose the things that you want. Not only do our trainings all focus around spending a dime and making a dollar, but they also focus around you picking and choosing the path that best suits your real estate career. If you're here today, if you're watching this, you're obviously interested in that next step. Or maybe you've taken that next step and you have a shadow. And you're like, please help me figure out how to manage this person. Help me figure out how to get the most and best out of someone else's labor. Well, use these cards and teach them the best way for them to complete your CMA. You don't have to do your own CMAs. And those of you who think that you can't get what you need out of somebody else doing it, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. If you give them the exact parameters and the exact order that each piece of paper needs to go into inside of that folder when you're getting ready to go on a listing appointment, trust me when I tell you that it will save you time and money. Because while that CMA is being completed, you are able to prospect so that you can have more CMAs completed. For those of you who don't know my background, I am a former school teacher turned real estate assistant, turned real estate agent, turned owner of a brokerage, turned real estate guru, if you will. And I was Russ Fitzpatrick's assistant for about 2 months before I became a real estate professional myself and partnered with him. And then we were able to hire an assistant together. But what you need to understand is that I was the person that he transferred those skills to. And when I was creating the CMAs, I knew that page 1 was always this. Page 2 was always this. Page 5 was always this. And was able to put them into a certain specific order so that he could walk out the door and walk into a listing appointment having never looked at the information before he sat down in a living room. And every single time, it was in the same exact order. Because when you're doing a listing appointment, and this is an aside note, you need to have an order that you go in every single time, which is where that listing appointment task list or checklist comes into play. Because he was most valuable either on the phone or in a living room. There was no need for him to sit down at that computer and to do the CMA. But it was designed in such a manner that it was specific. The parameters were always specific. Everything was laid out, spelled out, and put in so that he always knew what he could expect. And if you went on the same listing appointment with the same family 10 times in a row, they, by the second or third time, well, by the third or fourth time, they should be able to know what to expect. Because you should do it in the same order every single time. Systems put in place for every part of your business, schedules put in place for every part of your business is key to the success of your business, so that you can come to quantify your results. You can come to expect certain results. If you hodgepodge it together every single time, you're going to have a hodgepodge of results. So you should start to build those compelling arguments in a certain order, and you should put them in that order. You should have your geographic farm area. You should attend, if you don't have one, you should attend Farming Fridays so that you can build one. Farming Fridays takes place every Friday at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And your assistant can help you to build that farm area and do the required research in order for you to have it. You know, putting these systems in place, I can tell you that we teach classes at 10 and 2 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I can tell you that you're going to receive your week at a glance every Friday afternoon at 4:45. I can tell you that you're going to receive your daily jolt at 9 a.m. each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning. But do you know why I can tell you that? It's because we've put systems in place to make it so that you can come to expect certain things. And if you put systems in place for your personal assistant that you can start to expect certain things, you are going to make your life so much easier. And they're going to start to be able to help you to hold yourself accountable by them holding you accountable. See, because during that 1 hour strategy session that you and your assistant have, they're going to have input. They're going to help you to decide what your strategy should be. You're going to be able to quantify those results. You're going to be able to take your career to the next level and help you to earn more money while spending way less than what you earn. They're going to prepare your ads for you, and the only thing that you're going to have to do is approve them. I used to sit in our office or walk around our office. We had 540 realtors. And to this day, this was, I guess 8 years ago, and to this day, I can see this one real estate agent who was great in the living room. However, he didn't have an assistant, and I can see him still, just clear as day, sitting at the computers in the bullpen, getting ready to get ready, recreating ads, recreating the wheel, changing his look, changing his brand constantly, thus harming himself. He wasn't making them better. He was making them different. So people in the marketplace never knew that it was still him. Pick a brand, pick a look, and stick to it so that you start to show up differently in your marketplace. Make sure that, and it's so much easier to do when you have a personal assistant who's preparing your ads for the week, because you've already created the shell, you've already created the look, and they are way less apt to change the look, the feel, your branding than you are. Don't sit and get ready to get ready. Get ready and hand it off to someone who can do it the exact same way every single time. Maybe you don't run ads, so you get rid of this card. Don't have it. And something that's super important, that if you're going to hire someone full-time, they need to be the public's conduit to you. This might take them 10 hours a week, but the allocation of time that's invested in providing a level of world-class service is important, and they should be taught that they should always under-promise and over-deliver. And then, of course, I mentioned to you earlier that if they're going to help to build your credibility with your consumers, they should always refer to you as Mr. or Mrs. and then your surname. See, your client's mind, or your credibility in your client's mind, will be elevated by that one simple task. And they should always answer the phone in the same manner. Thank you for calling Mr. Isabella's office. How may I help you? How is that different than you out in the field showing property or getting ready to walk into a listing appointment and you answering the phone and saying, Chip Isabella? Do you think there's a difference in those two ways of communicating to the world outside of your phone? It's a completely different elevation of credibility in the marketplace. Completely different level. So I want you to reflect back on something that you may have delegated in the past, something that you may have given up. And I want you to think about what was the one delegated task that had the greatest impact on your income. Was it at a certain point in your career? Did you really even think about it or even understand? And then I want you to build those systems using these tools that will help you to build your relationships in the marketplace. See, the word relationship is the most important word in real estate. And if you're doing all of that busy work, that paperwork, if you didn't delegate the things that you don't need to take on yourself, then it's keeping you from building those relationships inside of your marketplace. If you're pulling expireds and you're in the middle of it and the phone rings, and you really want to finish this, or you're enthralled in it, your focus, 100% of your focus is on it, what's it going to sound like when you answer that phone? You're going to sound bothered instead of ready to build that relationship in the real estate community. These things are put in place for a reason. I've given you a post-closing drill on the Annie Mac Works 312% section of the website that talks about what your assistant should do. So this is just a drilled down example of something that you could assign to your personal assistant based on those cards. So let's look at the detail. And one of the things that how we held ourselves accountable was that the post-closing drill needed to be completed prior to a commission check request. Well, guess what? If you're waiting on a commission check, you're going to hold that assistant's feet to the fire, right? You're going to make sure that that gets done because you want your commission check, right? So let's take a look at a few examples. Before you submit the check request, you should have a handwritten thank you card, short but sweet, and mail it on the day of closing. Before you submit your check request, you should hand address an envelope for your customer satisfaction survey, and then put it in an envelope to be mailed 45 days after closing. Before you submit a check request, you hand address, the assistant hand addresses an envelope for the tax ramifications reminder. Do you understand how important that is to do before you do the commission check request? For your assistant to have that done? So then on a date that you decide, they're all done. It's not like, oh boy, this is an insurmountable task. I have, I closed 100 houses this year, so now I have to do this 100 times. No. It was just a part of a post-closing drill that was done one at a time, and it was done before I got my commission check. So I was sure to hold that person accountable to get it done. And now it's a matter of going from that file to the mailbox, and now I've touched all of my clients that I used, that I had that year, that I helped. It touches all those families that I assisted during that year. And it takes 4 seconds to drop them in the mail. Systems are the most important thing that you can put in place, not only for yourself, or not only for your assistant, but for yourself. See, once you build that relationship, those systems become the crux of how you focus your delegation. Are they taking care of your social networking hub? Are they hooking up each one of your sellers or buyers with your concierge service of your choice? Are they doing your for sale by owner follow-up system? Are they working your farm for you so that you don't have to and you can go on those important living room visits? Are they working your expireds through creating your listing letter or your newsletter and mailing them out on a daily basis? See, you need to decide which things you're going to implement and build the systems that build your relationships. I've put together predetermined accomplishments in your farm, but just so you know, in addition to this, I highly recommend that you attend Farming Fridays because every single week is a different system that's put into place. Every single week helps you to decide what that system's going to be and the things that you can delegate to that personal assistant. Are you going to have them send 10 expired newsletters 5 days per week with an average of 200 per month? That's 2,400 per year. It'll cost you, in addition to your assistant, about $2,500 a year, but you can come to expect 7 closings per year. If your average GCI is $5,500, that's $38,000. I think we did a little less than spend a dime, make a dollar on that one. Maybe if you add in the cost of your assistant, you'll get there. But these systems are key. Don't underestimate the impact that task management can have on your future. The impact that hiring someone, whether it be subcontracted, part-time, a shared person, or a full-time person. And remember this, fortunes are not made in the boom times. That is merely the collection period. Fortunes are made in depressions or lean times when the wise man overhauls his mind, his methods, his resources, and gets in training for the race to come. Systematizing your career and getting help to fulfill your systems will triple your income and change everything about your future, your children's future, and the time that you get to spend with them. Thank you for being here. Again, I highly recommend Farming Fridays at 10 a.m. on Friday. If you do not have a farm area that you're currently working, or if you would like assistance in systematizing it so that you can build those relationships. Go forth and build relationships in your community. Thank you so much. Have a great day.